Yvonne.
Hi, Evie. How are you?
I'm fine. Trying to set the world right, as always.
Always. Oh my goodness. So here we are, and welcome to anyone who is watching this, and you will be watching a video. We are not live this week. This is what happens with schedules and things. So we're just putting it up front. This is a recorded version of our usual Permission to Thrive myth busting live. Um, just as important, I
Yep,
must say.
absolutely.
And if you've been watching us, you will know that what we're really looking at are some of the phrases that we use that really kind of show what patterns we are potentially running on and how they might be impacting us positively or negatively. Because I think we've said this several times before, haven't we, Evie, that simply because we are myth busting, it doesn't mean to say that the patterns that are running these are always wrong. It's not wrong, right. Is it serving me? Is it supporting me? Is it overprotecting me? That's the bit we need to look at. And if it is overprotecting me, what can I do differently? And not to even rush to answer that, to just be able to sit and notice it first and foremost. And so this week we are looking at the fulfillment delay. And the first phrase is, I'll enjoy once it's done. I'll enjoy it once it's done. So, Evie, speak to me.
This is a very typical hyperachiever, and I know we both had this when we first started with positive intelligence as our characteristic, and I can definitely relate to that. And it almost feels like it is absolutely right. That's when you have to enjoy it, when things happen and are completed, and that's when you're going to see and say, "Yay, I managed." But the thing is, and also the narrative, generally speaking, in the last few years has been not to how did there was a phrase that they used to use, but the idea is that not to expect and get like, oh, the instant gratification thing. Yeah, so it was all about being against instant gratification and stuff. So it sort of like turned that on its head,
Yes.
but to the extent that for hyperachievers, it caused a big riff, I suppose, or problem or challenge, because like I was a big advocate of that. No instant gratification, not understanding that this is a very different thing to I will enjoy it once it's done. Because as we know now, and I have used it for years, is that it's not about enjoying it when it's completed, it's enjoying every single win along the way. And that makes things so much more enjoyable and brings joy in your own life for every step you take, and makes things worthwhile as well. Because I don't know about you, but I have found myself sometimes to the brink of just giving up,
Yeah.
because I could not anymore. I was like, okay, this is not working. I'm so unhappy. I don't know, and just giving up felt so much better than keep
Mm.
going. So yeah, I think that's a very big one.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because you said something there about enjoying all the wins along the way, because I think it's kind of almost like twofold. If we look at it from the work perspective, from business perspective, it is finding a way to do the things that need to be done whilst also having those moments of joyfulness. Now, whether that's joy because a part of a project's gone well as opposed to the whole project at this point, or, had a great meeting. Whatever those things are, it's really easy to dismiss them. You had a really good meeting. The thing is, you will dismiss it as quickly as that, yet you'll have a bad meeting and you'll be talking about it for a week, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's all right. Be really mindful of what you're watering, because if you can hold a bad meeting in your words, in your mouth for a week, that's what you're watering.
Hmm.
If you're having a good meeting and dismissing it as well, that went well, great, move on to the next thing, you're literally dismissing the moment of joy. What was great about that? And it doesn't mean to say you have to dissect it. It's just like that meeting went really well. There was really good energy. We've landed this deal. Whatever it is, it's just sit in appreciation of it for a moment. Like get the juice from it before moving on. Because yes, as a hyper achiever, it's just next thing, next thing, next thing, just climbing this ladder of stuff that needs to be done and not actually finding any joy, and then wondering why every time you do achieve something, you're no happier than you were when you didn't have it. It's just like, okay, so I've got that, no happy, I need to do something else. And then literally, oh, having fun, joy, being happy, oh, that can wait over there because I should be done in the next 5 years or 10 years. Like you think joy is going to sit here and wait. It's like it's for the taking now. And I can say that for myself. Listen, I was really kind of reflecting on this, for myself and thinking, gosh, I spent a block of years pursuing what needed to be done. Okay, fine. But pursuing it whilst still having moments of joy. Don't get me wrong, joy is like my essence. So I don't really live a joy that doesn't have a life that doesn't have joy in it. But some of the things that brought me joy, I shelved. Going out, being sociable, having time with my friends. It was just like, oh, I can do those down there. While still having some joy, so maybe I was doing better than some, but actually, by my own desire to live a joyful life, I was missing the mark. I was missing the mark because I was shelving things so that I could just get all this stuff done. And actually, what I have now realized, and when I say 2026 has been a game changer for me, it has been such an eye opener. It's like you can still do the things that you need to do and have the joy that you want to have. And that's joy with having time with my family, joy with having time with my friends, stopping to celebrate the things that matter, looking at what I have been doing and celebrating my wins, celebrating others' wins. Because actually, all of those things feed us, in a good way. So I'll enjoy it once it's done, is a story that really I feel drains joy. It just drains our life. We postpone pleasure in the pursuit of achieving all of these things. But what happens at the end of achieving all those things? You're hoping you've got time to now go and enjoy. That's the other thing, because how do you know? And actually, there is a way to live whereby you are finding joy and bringing joy into your life whilst still doing the things that need to get done. And for those who hear that and think, well, that's not my life, what I would encourage you to do is just how do I make my life more sustainable? Because if you're missing that, then your lifestyle probably isn't sustainable. You're probably foot on the pedal, go, 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 must do, must do, must do, and therefore missing the moments that actually can replenish you and bring happiness into your space.
Definitely. And I think that the the one thing to learn and is to hear your body, like in every moment when you are on a mission. And I think that we're not on a mission. one way or another, right? So
Mm.
there are the goals that we have, there are the aims we want to achieve. There are a lot of things that fill our days, but what I found out is that it wasn't like one or the other, because that is the myth, I think, and that's what creates this type of phrases. Is that, oh, I mean, I need to sacrifice, and the moment you hear the word sacrifice, joy goes out the window, because it seems like sacrifice is the one thing that you need to miss things, to miss good things from your life in order to get somewhere good that you want to go to. But you said it very well, Yvonne. You don't know where you're going, really. I mean, yes, we have an idea in our minds, right? We want to achieve a specific goal. We want to get there. We want to get the things. We want to help the people. We want, I don't know what that goal is for everyone, for each and every
Yes.
one of us, but we don't know what that is going to make us feel because we have not been there yet. So what we know, what makes us feel is right this minute, is this moment, us having this conversation, being really present, enjoying the things that we are doing right
Yes.
this minute while we're working towards that one thing that potentially will bring us happiness, joy, whatever. But I mean, why does it have to be just then and not now? And coming back to the instant gratification, that was like, at least the way that I understood it and how I was translating it, it was like, if you're not sacrificing, you are just looking for instant gratification, and therefore you are not really doing the work and you're not going to have the result. So it becomes a big
Yeah.
deterrent, right? If you see it like this, and then joy is not something we can discuss now. But also there is such a big difference between joy and happiness, as we have discussed in the past, right? And it's different to, like, a lot of people are talking about the pursuit of happiness, but the thing is that being joyful, like you said, it's your essence. It is something that comes from within. Joy is really something that lights you up, something that attracts other people. It's just a way of being. So why would it, like, would it be something that we don't have all the time, or we can't have, let's, okay, not all the time, but we can't have it while we are in the process of reaching our goal? I don't understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Joy belongs in the process. Being able to connect with your joy whilst still getting things done. Just as you said, it's not one thing or the other. One thing or the other also speaks into, oh, I'll have joy when I've done all this stuff. You don't know your life expectancy. And that's like a blatant fact that I just need to
Oh
put
yeah.
down for all of us. We don't know
Yep.
that. So how do we know we can wait another 5 years before we can tap into joy? And just like you said, is like we're here now. We have moments. We don't have to pretend or fake or try to be joyful every minute of every day. It's just, but notice the things that make you feel joyful. Notice the things that do fulfill you, whatever that is, and ensure that they show up along the way, that they are not discarded or put on the shelf and left for later, because we don't even know what later looks like. And that's something I tell myself, and I tell myself that, having just turned 61. It's really easy to think, oh my God, I'm running out of time if I don't get all this stuff done, da 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 da. Is that actually I just have faith that I am where I'm meant to be and that everything will unfold as it's meant to unfold. And in the meantime, I'm going to ensure that I experience joy because that I can access right now. I can access it right now. And if God forbid, please, this is not a request. I drop dead next week. At least I know that I have lived in joy. And I didn't put it on a shelf and make it wait. I did it for a period of time and actually realized all that did was make the work feel heavy.
Yeah.
It made the work feel heavy because there was no access to anything else. And so, no, I just got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep pressing, got to keep doing. And, you know, I'm sure there may be others who feel like, yeah, but I do that. And that's the way I have to do it. And, I'm not necessarily going to challenge it, but I'm going to say, but is that out of urgency and or scarcity? Or is it because it brings you joy? I don't know. That's for somebody to answer. But I know for me, foot on the pedal, not coming up for air did not bring me joy. And it didn't particularly overstress me either, but it just felt heavy. And I kept on thinking, where are the pockets of joy that I'm not accessing that I could be? And the minute that I decided that I want those, they matter now, that changed everything. Hasn't meant I work any less, doesn't mean that I don't produce any less because of it. I just feel more joyful with all of it.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing about postponing joy or postponing the things that you like doing or that they light you up and stuff is that we get used to it. And at some point, I felt that I couldn't really get joy out of the things that I used to like doing. And I questioned that because I was thinking, okay, that doesn't make any sense. I know some people will say, well, as you grow older, your habits change, your like things that light you up change. But undoubtedly, yes, fine. But it is not possible for like every single thing that you liked 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now you are in the midst of that and you really don't enjoy it one bit. There is something there to unpack. And what I realized for myself was that I was like getting to this how do you call it, to the point where I was not only not used to that to getting joyous anymore. I mean, I was at that point, which is a bit freaky, to be honest with you, because I consider myself a happy person. I consider myself a like an optimist, and
Yes.
also somebody that doesn't get stressed that much. Like all these things that should not should not like give me or make me feel the way I did. So all I could focus on was that, okay, what have I done in the last few years that have removed joy from even the most joyous things?
Mm.
And it was more about like doing exactly that, postponing happiness, postponing joy for long periods of time to the extent that when joy found you, you couldn't recognize it. That's what happened. And it was a big aha moment for me because I really needed that back. I knew the value of it. And
Mm.
I really, when I realized it, I thought to myself, okay, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm not going to live like this, as you said, because you don't know, tomorrow might never come. And I really need to have that lightness in my life. And I think, if anyone listens and they resonate with that, yes, don't wait. Don't wait. It's not worth it. Everything can happen and they will happen in their own time, us not being joyous or not enjoying ourselves in the interim, does not make them come faster or slower or nothing like this.
Absolutely. And there's something about the energy of joy also. You know, when you are in the energy of joy and you're working and you can access joy, that's a very different experience to accessing stress, to accessing, I need to go harder, I need to push more. The sensations in your body are very different. And if you think about that, then you think about the hormones that are being released in any of those given moments, how different that feels. And so being joyful in your work, even, and I'm not saying everyone will be joyful in their work, and that's why people are changing careers and doing all sorts of things, right? But when you are joyful in your work, it feels great. And I'm not going to use that phrase that says, then it never feels like work, because sometimes it does still feel like work. But guess what? I can still enjoy it. I can still extract the learning and think, wow, well, I didn't know that yesterday. Or, those little moments, or, oh, that didn't go quite to plan. But you know what I took away? There are just those ways that you can create little nuggets of, joy, fulfillment from situations, even when they're not brilliant situations. It's for me, there's a little bit of that, the choice of what am I going to focus on and what am I going to water? Am I going to water everything that isn't working, everything that brings me down, or am I going to water the things that remind me and reconnect me to what joy looks like and feels like? And the point that you made about, you almost get so good at overriding it that when it turns up, you don't even know that you're looking at it. Like I would imagine there are plenty of people who have had that experience. It's like joy came knocking, didn't even see it. I'm not even sure if I heard it, right? So again, for me, we come back to that same phrase, pausing and noticing and being able to pause and, where is joy showing up in my life? And if it's not showing up at all, then just noticing where it got lost, where did it get lost? And also, where might I be able to bring it back in little ways,
Yeah.
in little ways. So phase two,
Praise too.
which is there's no time for enjoyment.
Talking about that, what we just mentioned, it's exactly that. That's a trap. That's the
Yeah,
trap. There is no
yeah,
time for enjoyment. We
yeah.
have to sacrifice. We have to put our heads down, and we have to really do the hard work now so we can enjoy later.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this one speaks into a focus on output, where, it's all about the output, output over experience. And to be fair, it's easy to see why it happens because we live in a world that's, do more, do more, do more. You must have this, you must do that. And in order for that, you must keep on doing this. Right? We
Mhm.
have so many messages that can make enjoyment feel like, well, that's something you did when you were a kid, or that's something you do when you retire, but you just don't do it in that whole work period in between, which is just kind of crazy, right? So it's fine for kids, fine when you retire, but that whole 50 years in the middle, no time for enjoyment. It's crazy. When you say it like that, it sounds crazy, but at the same time, understanding how easy it is to fall into the pattern. And again, not necessarily using those words, but constantly telling yourself, yeah, 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 I want to enjoy myself. Yeah, I want to have fun, but not now. I haven't got time to, there's too many things I need to get done now. That will have to come after. And I think even if you look at life, do you honestly feel that life, taking away all the societal frameworks and rules, that life was ever meant to be just this foot on the pedal and go, go, go. No time for joy, no time for fun, no time for having experiences that feed my heart, my soul. we have to ask ourselves a question, is that really what we feel or think that life was designed for? And for me, that's just a hard no. But I say a hard no, and yet I've still fallen into the trap. So even though I can say I've moved away from it, I still get it. I still understand why it happens.
Yeah. No, but it does happen, and it happens because we are basing our success, our full like the fulfillment of a dream or whatever to the future, without understanding or realizing that it is the whole process that brings that success. It's the whole process that will bring your dream come true. And when I realized that like not seeing the wins along the way got me to the point of exhaustion, and at the same time that strong want to quit,
Yeah.
then I realized, well, without joy, life or whatever goal is not sustainable. And that's the end of it. Because you might end up getting what you want, fully exhausted, and of course, not being able to enjoy not even that moment. So it is
Yeah.
better to take a little bit longer. I don't know, to get there, if that's what you think. And the oxymoron is that usually it's when we let go of that hard grip that we have to our goals, that things are starting happening way faster because we are enjoying ourselves. So I don't know, I can't explain it, but that's how I have experienced it. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Ease and flow definitely plays a part. And I think enjoyment is, fuel sustainability. If we think about it, and I'm going to take it in the work context, if you're in a role, leadership role or otherwise, and your job is demanding you to, work 14, 15 hours straight, and it literally is demanding that of you and from you, it's very difficult to access enjoyment because the only thing you're probably likely to want to access is sleep, and that may be
mhm.
hard to do because your mind is already preparing for the next day and then the next day and the next day, and that is not sustainable. We look literally at the workplace and we look at the stats that they keep on throwing out about burnout and stress and mental um, well-being or lack thereof. It is not surprising if we're chasing the need to fulfill this demand constantly, because it literally blindsides us from the areas and the parts of life that are there to truly sustain us, to help us, to fuel us, so that we have that sense of, and I don't, I don't like to use the word balance. I talk about harmony, that there's this flow. And why I prefer harmony is because yes, some days there may be more efforting, more working, there may be more of this and less of the relaxing and the calming and the enjoying. But other days there may be more of the enjoyment and the relaxing and the calming and less of the work. And it's just this harmony, and we each find our own rhythm. There is no one rhythm for that. But if we don't even think it exists, or if we keep on overriding it, we never see it. Like you said, when it comes knocking, we don't see it and we just keep going. And so I think my message for anyone who's listening, who is feeling absolutely exhausted, highly stressed, has been burnt out, is burnt out, is to take the opportunity to pause and just really look at the whole of life, not one segment. And where am I ensuring that I have joy to fuel myself, to become more sustainable? What am I doing? And whether that is social stuff, whatever it is, that fulfillment looks like and feels like to you, where is that happening? Because if it's not happening somewhere, then that for me is a definite call for something needs to change. And you don't have to pin down exactly what that is straight away. The first step is to pause long enough to even notice.
Yeah, and we see it a lot. Um, you know, like with women that they are professionals or that they are in that sense of change in within the working environment. And sometimes, that they seek the change because they think that that is going to give them the joy or the and they don't realize that it's not really that, it's more the state of mind. And that state of mind is something that you take with you. It's not the external things that are going to change the circumstances. It's more you are the one that is going to change how you feel, how you like the labels you attach on things. And it again, it comes to choice, it comes to our own um the like the options we have, but also the responsibility that we take for our own life and what living a sustainable life means to us. The high numbers of burnouts that we see these days, that people are completely like lost when it comes to their own needs and the needs of the environment. And it doesn't have to be like this because yeah, I understand the word harmony is a perfect place or a perfect word for this type of thing, because you can live harmonious within your environment, whether it's professional or personal, as long as you listen to you as well. And
Yes,
that's the last place or the last thing we listen to. And that's why we end up with lives that are not what we hope they're going to be, that lives that are not um, joyous or sustainable. So we need to use our agency and say, okay, where do I draw the line? It doesn't matter what work you do. It doesn't matter what you're doing at home. It's up to you to change the way you think to be able to get to that stage of sustainability. But you need to listen to yourself. You need to
yes,
always listen to your
yeah.
body and what's happening with you.
Absolutely. There was a wonderful post that I read last week, and I can't remember who wrote it. I did put a comment on it because it was great, and it was talking about, there's always two doors into self. There's the mind, and then there's the body, and we tend to go here. Um, uh, but what happens? We end up chasing thoughts, and there can sometimes be a lot of muddle here, and yet the body will generally give you much clearer messages. But we have moved so far away from listening to our bodies, it's hard to even know what it's saying when it's saying it. And so when we talk about coming back to the body, when we talk about, tuning in, is so that you can relearn those signals and those messages and be able to understand that even if sometimes this is overrun and doing crazy stuff, the body will give you another way of accessing what truly matters. Because I think I fundamentally, I just think for the vast majority, if not all people, and I can only don't know everyone, so I can't say it, that people want to feel joy. When people leave this world, what is the thing that they say they wished they had, done more of what they wanted to do, that they had done all that, but they didn't. They committed to this 30, 40, 50, 60 years of like just working foot on the pedal, go, 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 and putting joy on the shelf or, thinking that joy would wait for them. But the finishing line kept moving. So they were never going to catch up to joy. So for me, again, it's take the time to even understand what that means to you. What does joy look like to me? What are the things that I would like to see, think, feel, do that would allow me to access joy more frequently? And they are not massive things, or they don't have to be massive things. I'm not talking about going off on holiday. That may be very joyful for some people, but not for everyone. By the way. It may be, just actually, if I could just come back to myself and take that pause and have like a few minutes, 2 or 3 times through my day, that in and of itself would feel quite fulfilling because I know that I've come back and it's calmed me down and I feel set, whatever it is, big or small. But being able to identify those things and then taking the time to bring those into your life because the present is literally all we have.
Mhm. I think that that's fantastic, and that's like I cannot add anything more to that. I know we can talk about things like this for a long time, you and I, Yvonne. And these conversations I love them because they are making things clearer as well for us. Um, but for now, I think we could say thank you and goodbye.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. Thank you, Evie. Thank you for anyone who is watching this on the recorded version. Any thoughts? And again, we really enjoy any thoughts, what's come up for you as we talk about this. Have you experienced this fulfillment delay, or are you actively ensuring that it's part of your lifestyle? Share, let us know, and let us know if you are actively making sure it's part of your lifestyle. What are the things that you're doing? What are the things that you've noticed that bring you joy that perhaps you wouldn't have thought were
mhm.
particularly joyful? They weren't big enough to have been joyful before. Share them because that may be some real food for thought for somebody else.
Yep,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Thank you, Evie.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.